Hello and welcome to today's review of the Transformers Age of Extinction Voyager class Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. And man, this figure is absolutely wonderful. He is one of my favourite Voyagers of all time. This is not the stock version. This has repro labels on it. These stickered flames here, the grill section. There's some stuff on the legs as well, which we'll get to. I brought this guy with those stickers already applied. There is also some extra stuff on the chest, on those chest windows, which is really cool. And yeah, I just think this is absolutely brilliant. Without spoiling too much, even though this looks like the... I say without spoiling too much in the sense that if you haven't seen this figure before. But this is very clearly a G1 inspired Optimus Prime alt mode, whereas the robot mode is far from G1. And I think it's incredibly impressive how they were able to go from this to that and vice versa. You know, it's just a feat of engineering in my opinion. And it really kind of shines a light on what Voyager class used to be, because I definitely think it's fallen off now and isn't as special as it once was. So yeah, beautiful detailing all around. You know, decked out paint on the windows. These mirror pieces are chromed. Silver paint's actually lining all the windows as well. This silver section on the back end here, this is one of the arms. This is what do you call it? That's paint. Like I said, this is all stickered. There's no paint detailing on the wheels, but they're pinned, so it's perfectly fine. And there's some, I think this is like dry brushed onto the canisters. It's cool, you know, so it's more than welcome. So, for the alt mode size comparison, here we have Alternator Swindle, Lego Car, Legacy United Gears, Ralph, Stove. Now, this scale, yeah, I've not got much to say really, you know, I'm definitely just okay with it. I'm not too bothered about having a huge truck cab, you know, it's just kind of not too important to me, and I just think this looks good, you know, it looks good with everything else, even if you could argue it should be much bigger. I think it's perfectly fine, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. And from here, we just go transforming. So, here we are going to take this front section, we're going to lift it up slightly, we're going to fold this smokestack down. Now this whole front assembly is a couple sections that need to be untapped from one another. So you want to take these wheels, you want to remove those. I would push this up, but I am confident we have not created the clearance required to bring this part up yet. And this is a figure I hadn't transformed for quite a while, you know, prior to actually getting this review done. And so I'm a little bit rusty, but it's definitely gonna be okay. So you go fold this section up, like so. Can't look inside, you can see his head. You go take the arm, or at least part of it, fold them upwards, fold that out. There you go. Now we've untabbed this as well. You go take this section, swing it around like so, and then kind of unfold the front, juggle this middle kind of panel, it's like hinged or whatever, you know, you gotta juggle it around a little bit. This is a honestly really confusing step for me. Yeah, the arms swing round. Oh, there you go. It's actually quite difficult to get this on camera. Definitely one of the more difficult ones so far. And I do have to say, this is not the easiest transformation in the world. Getting the arms together, like just kind of in that truck configuration, it's definitely a bit awkward. And you know, I don't hate it. I'll tell you that much. You know, even if I do think, man, I could have done with this being a little bit simpler, I'm perfectly okay with having this function the way it does. Next up, you will go kind of collapse this inwards. Bring it up, like so. We're going to have to undo part of the transformation. Yeah, alright. My bad, senior moment. I say senior moment. I'm not old. Promise. Oh my word. Alright, I'm coming back to this. Basically, you just take this section, fold it down so it's flush, and then fold the sides of this also in and fold the chest flaps around. It's actually very straightforward. Me just being a bit stupid. couldn't line it up for some reason. Trust though, that part is not difficult. I'm just, yeah, I'm a silly goose. So we go back out for this one because he is a tall Voyager fellow. Now, he's cool, you know, kind of, let's get into it. The articulation on this guy, I've talked about the paint detailing stuff already. Hands appear to be painted, which is a strange choice, but okay. But yeah, articulation. So, shoulders go all the way around. Not elbows. The arms pull out at under a 90, but it's like not too far off. The elbows are more than a 90, which is welcome. There's a little bit of backwards movement at the elbow as well. You can phrase that however much you want to. I think it's cool. Does he have wrists? The answer is no. They're sculpted in place. The head, however, is super articulate. You can look down. You can look up. To the left. To the right. And his head swivels all the way around. Which is more than welcome. Leg. Oh yes, sorry, we've actually missed something. He does also have a bicep swivel. Let's not miss that. It's really tight on my copy. I do feel like it will break, so I didn't want to say it definitely does a 360. Maybe it does, but my one doesn't seem to want to. Leg kicks up at a 90. Kicks back just over. Waist. Got a bit of movement. It's not the most flush thing in the world with the sculpting and everything, but it's there. And then the knees are really tight, but they go to a 90. Ooh. Bicep swivel. Bicep. That's pretty good. Thighs on this. My ones, they're mushroom pegs, right? Or whatever. They don't come out, they're fixed, but they're tight as anything, so I'm definitely going to work that into my articulation on this guy because, damn, the light went. And now, finally, toes go down, go up for transformation. No rockers because this is before that became common, like a common thing that figures had. Alright, we're leaving that in. We'll come back to this in a second. Just before we move on to the, the robot mode comparison, I do want to just talk about the sculpt work on this. It's bloody brilliant, even if like all the paint detailing isn't quite here. You know, there's maybe little things I do, not use grey, or at least have some sort of paint on there. You know, but it's absolutely wonderful. Articulation as well, it's not too bad, you know, especially for the time period. This is, 2017, you know. They'd really cut back the Transformers budget. It was a known thing at the time. You know, a lot of the toys got worse during that toy line. This is really a shining example of why that toy line wasn't the worst thing in the world. However, the quality across the board, it's kind of so hit and miss that this being as good as it is, it just didn't help an awful lot. But anyway, generally the sculpt work is brilliant, and this head is absolutely phenomenal. I will take this over any of the Studio Series ones. So for our robot mode size comparison, here we have Age of Extinction Lockdown, Studio Series Lockdown, Ralph, Steve. Now, I only go talk about these lockdowns or whatever. But first of all, this Hasbro one's terrible. However, regardless of whether it's crap or not, the lockdown figures that have been put out by Hasbro and Takara do not scale with Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. But for some reason, they could not make Lockdown a Voyager figure and actually make that a non-issue. So hopefully, Studio Series Lockdown gets a redo and they just make him bigger. I mean, they also need to make him a hell of a lot more articulate because this toy is not great. It's well sculpted, but other than that, it's not got an awful lot going for it. It's just far too small for what it should be. Anyway, it's fine. You know, I'm perfectly okay with it. I didn't really want to compare them to too much else because I don't have an awful lot to say about the robot mode size comparison to anything else. You know, it's Optimus Prime. He should be bigger than most of your other Autobots, and he is. You know, he just doesn't scale with the one thing that I think he needed to scale with, because they didn't make Lockdown big enough. But whatever. For the ratings though, the aesthetics on this guy, just forgive my bias, the aesthetics on this guy are a 9, okay? I can't say a 10 because the missing paint detailing on some of the sculpted detail, and you know, the amount of grey plastic, and the fact that as a stock figure, half of this coloration is missing. Shoulder stickers, chest stickers, these bits on the abs, thighs, lower legs, none of that's here on the original figure. It's only because this has an upgrade kit of sorts on it. And then with the cab mode, you know, there's a lot of detailing on the actual cab section itself where it's sticker detail. So the original figure is quite bland. But my enjoyment of the overall look of both modes and kind of functionality, it does bring it up for me, and the fact that it does have the stickers on it is helping the aesthetics. As for the transformation on this guy, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a very smart process. It's not the most simple thing in the world, but it's not bad to the degree where it becomes unenjoyable. You know, it's definitely like great in my opinion. Then for the articulation on this guy, he's nothing special. For a Voyager from 2017, I could expect more. You know, there's no wrists. The thigh swivels are absolute bummer, you know. The waist is a massive pain. Head movement's great though, and the elbows do a bit more. You know, they have some extra movement back. They have a deeper bend forward. The backward movement on the leg is cool, I guess. It's not that practical. And the toes moving an awful lot isn't the most useful thing in the world. So, you know, very much swings and roundabouts. It's definitely just getting a 6 on the articulation for what it is. And then, value for money in this guy, man, I don't know. You know, I got this for a really solid price. I think I paid like 25 for it maybe. But it's alright. You know, it's cool, I guess. You know, 7 out of 10 on value for money. If I had got this for the price of a Voyager back in 2017, I would probably give it an 8 maybe. You know, it's not the most exceptional thing in the world in terms of what you get for what you pay, purely because of the fact that the transformation's not like the most user-friendly experience. The articulation isn't great, and really all you've just got is 2 really cool modes and a solid-looking figure. But he doesn't pose amazingly, so, you know, swings and roundabouts again. That's this figure's whole thing. I think he's one of the best Voyagers for the ingenuity of the transformation and the overall look of both modes. Not because the articulation is special. But there it is. This has been AnimatedCHUG. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.